Thank you so much, by the way, first off, for inviting me, and it's an honor to be here. My daughter graduated from Utah State 2 years ago in May. Yeah, woo-woo. She's an Aggie. I asked everybody at our dinner table who is a true Aggie, and several of you raised your hands, so that's good. I remember when she called me and said, "Mom, I'm a true Aggie." I'm like, sweet, who's the guy that... Anyway, okay, so it's not her husband who she's married to now, but he also is an Aggie and probably a true Aggie. And she's expecting her first kid, baby boy, in a month. So I'm going to be a grandma, which is exciting. But anyway, we loved Utah State. My dad graduated from Utah State in 1962. So he loves the Aggies as well. So we are very connected to Utah State. So thank you for having me. This is a real honor. So thank you. And Marissa, their family has been along with us for this journey. I don't know, she didn't tell you how we are related, but she is the niece to my sister, who passed away 2.5 years ago from ALS. And so my sister was one of my biggest fans, and she would always, I'd go over and sit with her because she was basically trapped on her couch. She couldn't move. But she would be like, okay, tell me what's going on with Swig. What's the latest? And so she really knew the whole journey, and then she would tell Carol, Marissa's mom, who was a great godsend to her as well, all about Swig. So their family is very vested in Swig, and that's how we're connected, and that's a very special thing. And I know that my sister is here with me today because she's a big fan of, not only me, of course, but of Swig, because it was a journey. It was a great big journey. So thanks, Marissa. Okay, so I want to tell a little bit about me, because like all of you, you have lives and you have a story, and part of that is, yes, I've been married for almost 28 years, and my husband, who is the other founder of Swig, he couldn't be here tonight, but we have 5 children, and Aubrey being the oldest one that graduated from Utah State. She's now in Phoenix. She's a teacher of Spanish at a high school down there. And then my son is at UVU, and he's studying business, and they just told us that they are expecting their first child, so grandbaby number 2 in August. And then my daughter is at UVU as well. She is 21 and single, so if anybody, you know, I'm going to show a few pictures of her, but she's like, Mom, I was like 12 and gross, so why are you sharing that photo with the crowd? Anyway, so she's at UVU studying public relations, and then our fourth daughter is she's at UVU as well, and she's submitting her mission papers to go on an LDS mission here in a couple weeks. And then my son is 15, the baby of the family, who's not so baby anymore. He is 6 foot, and you'll see a picture of him sitting on a soda bib in Swig number 1, the original Swig, because that was his life, poor kid. I thought as soon as he started kindergarten, I would have like the best life, and I would be going to, you know, like the spa, or at least to the mall or whatever, have some time out of my own after getting all my kids into school. And then we started Swig, and I'm like, okay, so I am now fully in working mom mode. So that poor guy had to be at Swig quite often. But it taught our kids a lot. And the reason why I bring them up first is because they were a part of the journey. They had to share their parents. We were at Swig a lot. And so they're part of this journey, and I'll kind of get into that as we move forward. But first of all, I want everybody to close your eyes. Okay? Everybody has their eyes closed. No peeking. Okay, keep your eyes closed. I want you to tell me what you hear. Are any of you thirsty yet? Okay, you can open your eyes. It all started, where's my little thing? Oh, whoops. It all started with the love of a good Diet Coke, honestly. That was it. So find something you're passionate about and go out there and do it. And so started with the love of a Diet Coke. So my husband's degree is from SUU marketing, and mine's from Ricks College, or BYU Idaho, in administrative assistant. And so we had always dreamed of creating something of our own. My husband always has lots of ideas, and I'll tell you the story of how this started. So one day he came home and he's like, I think I have an idea for a business. I'm like, okay, what is it? And he's like, what is one thing that I have every day, multiple times a day? And I said, well, that's easy. You get a Sonic. Who here has been to Sonic? So the good Pebble Ice, the good foam cup, there's a lot that goes into that drink. And I said, okay, easy, it's a Sonic. We called it a Sonic. And he's like, what if we just do business that's drive-through drinks? And I was like, okay, that's kind of a long shot, but it sounds like a good idea. And so he went to Maverick, and he sat outside of Maverick and watched how many people walked out with just fountain drinks. And it was astounding. Within like an hour's time, it was hundreds of people just walked in to get their fountain drink. And we're like, okay, we're onto something here. And I was a mom of 5, and the youngest being, 4 at the time. To not have to get out of your car to go in and get that fountain drink would be life-changing, right? And because we all have a good drive-through. So it all kind of started with that, of like, let's build a business on that Diet Coke, on that good fountain drink with the good Pebble Ice and the good foam cup. Even the straw, we needed to be a little bit wider. How many of you are fountain drink connoisseurs in here? I'm not even talking Swig, just like who loves a good fountain drink? And we live in Utah, so there's a lot of you, I know. But it makes a difference. Have you gone to a gas station or somewhere where the straw is literally so tiny and you can't even get the soda out hardly? It makes a difference to have a straw. This sounds crazy talk, but again, we're passionate about our soda. The straw is even a little bit bigger, and that makes a difference. So we knew we needed the straw that was the perfect size. And so we just started naturally evolving, okay, what do we appreciate as a customer? And we felt like we were sick of waiting in line behind somebody at a fast food joint that was taking forever ordering, and they ordered like 5 combo meals, and you just want a good fountain drink, right? And then your cup would smell like onions or greasy on it, and you're just like, oh, and so it kind of ruined the experience for you. And so we're like, there's a need out there. So that's my advice to you too, is find a need that's missing in the marketplace and then fill it. There was nothing out there like this at the time. Everybody served fountain drinks, so that was the tricky part, right? But there was not an establishment that just served fountain drinks through a fast drive-through. So that was our goal, is to create this amazing fast friendly drive-through with the best Diet Coke and Mountain Dew or whatever you drink, with the good Pebble Ice and a smile at the end of it. We would go sometimes through fast food places and you'd feel like a number, where they just didn't really care that you were there. And I'm like, there's something to that. My husband several times would pull up to the Sonic that he would go to every day, and they'd see him in line, and they'd have his drink ready for him, his Diet Coke with lime, and they knew his name. And that's when we were like, ding, ding, ding. Everybody wants to be made to feel important and known. And so that was part of our part of our goal, is to help people feel important. And we could do that by in a drive-through line of fountain drinks. So that is how we got started. So we started thinking of names for the business, and my husband looked up in the thesaurus and looked up the word drink, and there was like a ton of different names. And the minute he came to Swig, I stopped him and I said, that's it. You know exactly what it is. Like, can I have a swig of your drink? And so we're like, okay, we're going with Swig. Well, then we needed a logo. Maybe. Oh, there we go. We needed a logo, and we were looking for like a California cool surfer dude, like chilling on the beach. And so we found a guy that had drawn for Disney that lived in St. George. By the way, that's where we lived, was St. George, Utah. And so he designed this cool, the Swig guy is what we call him. We never named him. We still should. He no longer, we say he's gone off to college because we rebranded a little bit. But Anyway, but he was a huge part of the business as we were starting and throughout many years. And he drew up this, Jared Beckstrand was the name of the graphic designer, and he drew this mock-up of what we wanted Swig to look like. This was 2009, guys. On my email that I sent over to Marissa for the slideshow, 2009. And what's funny is it pretty much does look like that still, well, before we rebranded, still to date. But that's the first original Swig drawing that we have. So we had our name, we had our logo, we had our concept, we needed to find a building. So we're searching all through the town of St. George, and we can't afford a lot. We didn't take out a business loan. We were doing this all on savings. And so we driving around, we finally found this old rundown building next to Dixie College. It was a U-Haul place before. It was a skate ramp park with literally ramps up the side of the building. And we went to this gentleman. He's about 80 years old, and we told him our concept. The building square footage is probably like 600 square feet, tiny. And we just needed a good drive-through, and it had a huge parking lot. Who here has been to the original Swig in St. George? Yay, quite a few of you. Yay. And so we went to him and we told him our concept, and I literally think he thought we were crazy, because how do you make money off of selling just fountain drinks, right? That's crazy talk. And so we told him what we wanted to do, and he thought about it for a second, and he just said, I just want you guys to succeed, so yeah, you can lease the building. And to date, it's still our lowest lease out of all of our stores. Like, he gave us such a shot, and I honestly think that's why we were able to survive for the first couple years, because our lease was so low, because he was willing to give us a shot. And so that's where we started, and we had to renovate the whole building. We did it all of ourselves with the help of our kids, and turned it into a Swig. So we, I just want to make sure I don't forget anything. Okay, so we have our building, we have our logo, we have our concept. I found everything online for distributing. So I found our syrups and our purees. We found a local distributor for our cups. Here's the funny thing though, we needed Coke and Pepsi, right? So my husband and I would have been fine just having a Coke machine, because hello, we just need Diet Coke. But we know that we're a business and we need variety, and we need Mountain Dew basically. And so we had to have Pepsi in. I mean, let's be real, Pepsi's great, but Coke is better. So we had to have Mountain Dew in there as well, and so we needed Pepsi. Well, we went to Coke and Pepsi, we realized that they do not like to be in the same building. They just are like, no, it's either your Coke place or your Pepsi place, right? When you go to a restaurant, they either have Coke or Pepsi. And so we're just like, no, we really need a variety. Like, this is our concept. We really think it's going to do good, hopefully. And Pepsi was like, nope, especially when they saw that Coke machine was already in the building. And so we're like, all right, we're just going to open the doors, because we had everything ready and time was ticking. And so we opened the doors with just a Coke machine. And we went and bought, this is almost embarrassing to say, but we went and bought 2-liter bottles of Pepsi, Diet Pepsi, Mountain Dew, Diet Dew. Because we had it on our menu. We'd already designed our menu, but Pepsi wasn't coming. So we had to be a little bit flexible. So within the first month, we're just, popping soda cans, pouring the Pepsi in there. The Coke was from the machines. And this gentleman comes up and he orders a Pepsi, and he gets his Pepsi, and he's sitting out on the front porch of the patio of the Swig, and he comes up to the window, and my husband's like, oh, is everything okay? Did we make the drink okay? Something wrong? And he's like, I just want to tell you that this is the best Pepsi I've ever had. And my husband's like, oh, so glad. And he had no idea that it was literally from a 2-liter bottle of Pepsi. But that's what I'm saying. You can make anything great as long as you serve it with a smile and make them believe that it is the best Pepsi on the planet. Okay, so Pepsi did eventually come in. It took them about a month or so to go fine, and they did bring in their machines. And honestly, I think there are a lot of competitors, and we'll talk about that later too, but I don't think that was heard of in the industry, that you would have Coke and Pepsi in the same business. So I feel like that's something that we kind of pioneered a little bit. I'll take a little bit of credit for that, because it was not heard of. And now Now it is. So at all of our stores, we do have Coke and Pepsi because you got to have a variety because there are Pepsi drinkers out there and we love you. So it's good. It's good. Okay, so now we needed some treats. And my husband probably would have been fine just having a Coke machine, right? But I'm like, no, I love to bake things. I'm like, we need to have some cookies. And my friend had said there's this great sugar cookie place in Santa Clara called Dutchman's. You should go try out their cookies because we hadn't opened our doors yet. I'm like, okay, I don't love sugar cookies, but I'll go try it. So I go out there and it's an amazing sugar cookie. I'm like, okay, and I tried their chocolate chip and they went well. I'm like, yeah, these are really good. So I go to the gentleman and I said, of the owner of the place, I said, have you ever outsourced with anybody before? Here's our concept. I'd love to put your cookies in our store. I said one. And he's like, I've never done it before, but you know what? Why not? And so that's where we were getting our cookies from. And we did for several years. I would drive across town, pick up huge boxes of cookies, big tubs of frosting, and then drive them back like every day. It was about a 15-minute journey there, 15-minute journey back. So because there wasn't a distributor that's going to bring those homemade cookies to you. So that's how we got our cookies. We opened our doors April 2nd, 2010, and the Swig journey began. We were on our way. We just knew Swig had to be different from the beginning. Like we nothing else like it. Our own accountant told us 6 months later that he thought we were crazy and that we were gonna flop because it was such a crazy idea. People would drive by and they're like, wait, what is that place? And then they go, oh, I don't know. And then all of a sudden the lines started growing and growing, and they're like, oh, well, let's go check it out and see what they're serving. And if you weren't a soda drinker, all of a sudden you became a soda drinker for some weird reason. And if you weren't drinking soda, you could get a cookie. But the lines started slowly picking up, and we knew that we might have something on our hands. So sorry, I've got way more pictures, but there's so much that goes into the first part of the story as a entrepreneur business. Okay, so my husband and I worked it day in, day out. So that's another piece of advice I'd give to you when starting your own business or concept, whatever it is. Work your business. Be in that business. Do not hire out, especially at first if you can, because no one's going to protect that business like you will. And at the first, it needs protected. It needs babied. It needs your attention full on. Those customers need to see you in there working hard, and they will resonate with that, and then they're going to want to choose you rather than somebody else down the street that they feel like a number. Does that make sense? And so we worked that business day in, day out. So here's a little story. I grew up on a dairy farm in Idaho. So eastern Idaho. My dad was up at the break of dawn and to milk those cows, and then would go and have to do it again at night. They are always there. You always have to milk them. So Cache Valley, it has a lot of dairy farmers, right? You're known for your ice cream and your cheese. Who here grew up on a dairy farm or knows anything about the dairy business? Do we have anybody? Yeah, a few? Okay, it's hard work. You are married to those cows, to that dairy business. When you're in the restaurant industry, you are married to that business. You are in there day in, day out, but that's how it survives and that's how it succeeds. So we were in that store day in, day out for the first 3 years solid. Okay, we knew our customers so well. We knew their names, we knew their phone number, we knew their car that they drove. We even knew probably too much about their families and their social lives because they resonated with us, and we got to know them so well to where we saw them every day, multiple times a day, where they'd pull up and they'd be like, oh my gosh, you're still here. Okay, yeah, I need a refill on my drink. I'm like, it's okay. There's worse things. I'm in here drinking too. It's fine. But they would come multiple times a day, and we created a friendship and a bond. So that made the difference as well, because they were going to come to us because they felt almost like they were vested into Swig. Before we started Swig, it was Sonic again, and my husband and I would always tease that we should own stock in Sonic. Have you ever gone to a business so much that you're like, we should own stock in this company? We are here every single day or multiple times a week. That's what we would say all the time, and little did we know we were going to start our own drink stop. So yeah, find what you're passionate about and go for it. Okay. So there's Tice. that's my baby. That's him waiting up on top of the bibs as he looked thrilled with his life right now. We would pull up and there would be a long line of cars and I felt so obligated. And so I'd pull in and I'd be like, I'm just going to go in for a few minutes and help him out. And the kids would be like, no, don't go in. You're going to be in there forever. I'm like, no, I won't be. I'll just hurry. Yeah, the cars kept coming. And so it was like an hour or two later. And so that's where we would find him most times, just sitting there going, are we done yet, Mom? And did I feel bad at times? Of course, the mom guilt is real. But did it teach our kids how to work hard and to not give up? Yeah, it did. And to live out your dreams. And so that's just some fun footage of just at the stores working. There's some more fun pictures. That's the original Swig back in the day. This is actually at the store number 2. That's Jeff from The Bachelor, if you guys don't recognize him. Do you guys watch Bachelor, Bachelorette? Come on, you can raise your hand. Don't hide it. Anyway, that's at Swig number 2. My son, Trey, not the little guy. This is my son that's married. He's on the end. And that's my niece next to him. So when we first started Swig, by the way, we started with 10 employees because my husband and I were working day in, day out. We didn't need a lot. We couldn't afford a lot. Again, we had no business loan. We were just trying to make this crazy idea work. We would pay ourselves when there was money to pay ourselves. So we didn't have the best, biggest, fancy equipment because we couldn't afford it. Back in the day, we took orders on sticky notes, like yellow Post-it sticky notes. We would write the order on the sticky note. In fact, that's me. I am taking an order on a sticky note out there. And then they would hand it to the girl at the window we had Costco cash registers, and like $150. And then we would hand that Post-it note to the person who would go make the drink. And then you're like, I can't understand the writing. And is that a Diet Coke or is that a Diet Pepsi? And then hope that you get everything on the order that they had got. How it survived, oh my goodness, because now we have all these different, like a point of sale and a bump screen and just all this great stuff, but we needed it in order to expand. But I think the reason why it did survive and do so well is because we were there protecting it, making sure that it worked. But we didn't have to have the biggest, best, grand equipment in there. So that's another piece of advice I would say is don't start too big too fast. Take your time, buy things when you can to build the business and to help it, but don't go too big too fast. Yeah, take your time doing it. Okay, we didn't get a point of sale, which I don't know if any of you know that if you're in the industry, until we were 3.5 years in. We took orders on Post-it notes for 3.5 years. So, and that's with lines to the street. So, again, kind of a crazy thing that it worked. Okay, so after a couple years of crazy hard work, we knew that this crazy concept was gonna work. We just were like, okay, I guess the customers will come back again the next day. My husband would always be like, will they come back tomorrow? And I'm like, they're gonna come back tomorrow. We've got them hooked, they're gonna come back. And so they would come back, and plus, again, we knew them well, and we wanted to see their faces again. We love our customers. So, we started looking for a second location, and again, it's not hard. It's hard to find those spots with a good drive-through, and we have to renovate the buildings because it's too expensive to build out new. We couldn't afford that. So, about the time that, actually, not before I do that, let me tell you about our cookies. So, I did not know that our cookies were going to do like they did. I just wanted a good home-baked cookie, right? They took off. Like crazy took off. And so we decided to kind of turn our focus towards the cookies as well and not just the dirty Diet Coke. So we, about 2.5 years in, the bakery, Dutchman's that I told you about, their bakery flooded. And so we were like, oh no, what are we gonna do? These cookies are a huge part of our business, now what? We had a baker that was baking our cupcakes at the time. And I went to her and I said, can you bake cookies? And she's like, I actually can bake a really good cookie. And I said, okay, we've got to just go to town and come up with some good recipes for the cookies that we sell. And so we recreated these recipes for all of those same cookies. and we hardly skipped a beat. And we opened our own bakery. All of a sudden, we're in the bakery business, which we did not think we were going to be in. We thought we were in the fountain drink business. We're now in the cookie business as well. So we opened our own bakery, and these are actually pictures in our bakery. We at one time had a cookie mix. Who here used our cookie mix years ago where you could bake your cookies at home? Yay! Again, we didn't think we'd ever be doing something like that, but why not, right? There was a need for it, and so we did it. So the cookies took off, and we now have a cookie business with our own bakery. So word spread pretty quickly about this crazy phenomenon, crazy town, just selling soda fountain drinks down in St. George. And so, hold on, I need a drink. I need a swig of my drink. It's just water, but it has the good pebble ice, and our tumblers, guys, will hold that ice all day long. Okay, so, and we have a watermelon red one. Well, actually, it's sold out, but it did, and it's really cool, though, huh? Okay, so, where was I? Okay, so word spread, and so people traveling on I-15 would stop and get their Swig. It became a destination, which is what we had hoped it would be when we started this, is that it's a destination for people to where they go, what do you want to do? I don't know, let's go to Swig. That's what it turned into. And so people vacation from up here in cold Cache Valley, Logan. You vacation down in St. George to get out of the yuck, right, and the snow. And so spring break comes 2013, and we get put on the news.
Well, it's spring break time, which means crowds from northern Utah are heading down south for some fun in the sun, rightly so. And in St. George, it seems like they're all headed to one place. It's a little drink stand called the Swig. Ladd Egan is live in St. George to explain that as this cultural phenomenon. And Ladd, I hear people wait in long lines all just for soda or pop, as we call it here in Utah.
Yeah, all just for soda pop. Yeah, check out this line behind me. It goes out the parking lot, around the corner, and it's been like this all day long. In fact, the owners of Swig, because of its popularity, have rushed to just barely open up a second location.
Said you might have to wait a little bit, but it was worth the wait.
Day in and day out.
Hi, what can I get you?
Sun up to sundown.
Is that everything for you today?
Crowds descend on this little drive-through drink shack. How come you're waiting in this long line?
Because they have the best Diet Coke in the world.
Swig is so popular, it's even got its own lingo.
I'm an everyday swigger.
Let's get a Swig means anything from getting a snow cone to the most popular flavored fountain drinks.
This is a dirty Dr. Pepper. Nobody does dirty Dr. Pepper like Swig does.
Dirty means coconut.
Swig owner Nicole says coconut-infused Dr. Pepper is the best seller, along with Mountain Dew with mango puree.
But as you put it in the soda, it dissolves, and so it just gives it a real fruity, yummy taste.
And it's not just the drinks.
The sugar cookies are so good. They're so good.
Upwards of 1,000 sugar cookies frosted on the spot fly out the door every day.
The last year, though, it has really skyrocketed.
Tanner says when she and her husband first opened 3 years ago,
People thought we were crazy.
but the store quickly caught on.
It's turned into a destination.
And the lines got so long that the second Swig location just opened up on St. George Boulevard, keeping locals
I drove 4 hours for Swig today.
and out-of-towners satisfied.
We just every day go, we can't believe that this has turned into what it is, because we started it from infancy.
So everyone has their favorite here. They started out with just about 4 flavor options. Now they've got more than 40 flavor add-ins to add to your favorite soda. And one of the popular things that attracts moms to this drink shack here is they don't have to unbuckle all the kids, get them out of the car seats in order to get a Diet Coke, and why not a sugar cookie for the kids. Heidi, back to you.
Okay, this, by the way, is my cute sister who we talked about that passed away. So again, she's been a part of the journey for a long time. And that's my other sister. That's when we opened our Provo Swig. That's some of the Provo Swig employees. This Emily right here, she managed the Provo Swig for a while. David opened our one in the University Mall that we had opened for a while. We ended up closing that because it just wasn't working. We need a drive-through. We've learned we need a drive-through. So again, learning points along the way. Let's keep going. There's Jimmy Osman. That's out in front of the original Swig. That's his daughter. There's some more pictures of the classic Swig. That's the Bountiful Swig, if any of you have been to that Swig. That was store number 5. That's one of our black card winners. That was Swig for a year. She won Swig for a year, which is pretty cool. That's her own official black card. That's my sister up there. That's Good Things Utah on the set of Good Things Utah with all the cookies. This is Lehigh when we opened Lehigh, which was store number 7. The building was a car wash, and so it's one of our biggest buildings yet, but we retrofitted it to a Swig. And it's a top 3 store. It's a busy store. It's on a great part of town. There's our mugs, cookie mixes. Again, people are passionate about their drinks and cookies just like I was, so go figure. Okay, so let's talk about the dirty thing that happened. I'm sure all of you have heard about the fight that was going on. It wasn't really a fight, but kind of was, but not really. We didn't want to be in that fight. But so as competition started to come up, there were some competitors that were like, dang, that's a good idea. Maybe we should try that. And I don't blame them, honestly, because that's how we got started, right? From Sonic, we were like, oh yeah, this is a great idea, let's try it. And that's what the American dream is. And so people were doing a similar business. In fact, they were really doing almost exactly what we were doing from the syrups. They would get the exact same syrups, the same cookies, the same cups. And again, they just want to make sure it'd work. But they were using the same terms. And one of the terms that stuck from the very start with us was dirty. And the problem with them using the term dirty is that they were maybe doing it differently. So dirty to some people was add a lime and coconut. Well, dirty for us is just coconut. Some of them would add cream to it. And so what would happen is the customers would come through our line and say, I want a dirty Dr. Pepper. And we would make it and they're like, oh, you forgot the lime or you forgot the cream. And we're like, oh, well, dirty just means coconut. So we felt like we were always having to explain that. And then pretty soon, like even Maverick had make your drink dirty across the top of their fountain machine, of their gas tanks. And we're like, okay, everybody likes that term now. Well, back in like 2014, we actually trademarked the word dirty because we realized it was an important part of our business. 75% of our drinks have coconut in them. So dirty is a huge part of our business. So we needed to protect it. And so we actually got a Utah trademark and a US trademark for the term dirty, and it's associated with anything in a fountain drink. And so the minute actually that we sent letters out to companies, most of them said, oh yeah, that's your term, we won't use it. Maverick took it off their gas tanks and they were good about it. There was just one in particular that didn't, and it all ended well, so it was good. But anyway, so yeah, the dirty. And again, a pivotal moment in our company though, where we had to protect our business, okay? So don't be afraid to make those big decisions when you need to protect your business in the long run. Keep that long-term perspective because that's what we had to do. We're like, as we grow this company, if this term really means that much to us, we've got to protect it, okay? All right, so we needed partners. And oh, by the way, well, keep focused on that if you want to. We ended up in that time from 2013 from 2 stores to opening 14 more stores. So we had 16 more stores, locations by 2016. So from Logan to Bountiful, Clinton, Clearfield, Murray, Draper, West Draper, Trails Crossing, Daybreak, Oquirrh Mountain, Traverse, Lehigh, Orem, Provo, Gilbert, Arizona. So we were going gangbusters and tired, but we were loving life because we were living our dream and can't believe that this is where it is. But then we come to a point where we're like, whew, we're tired and our stores maybe are not getting the attention that they deserve. The managers and team members are not getting the support that they need. And there was competition now, a lot of it. Like, I think there's probably 100 other people that do exactly what we do now. I don't even know half of them. But we knew we needed to start opening more Swigs, even more than we were. And so we went down the franchise route thinking that was our only option. And we got about 80% down the franchise route, spent lots of money trying to do all the legal stuff for it, thinking that's what we had to do. But it scared us really bad because the franchise world will eat you alive if you're not ready for it. It will destroy your brand. And because we put so much into this Swig brand, it made us nervous. And so we just did not feel good about it. And we were praying for the right partner to come along. And a friend introduced us to Andrew and Shauna Smith. And it was mainly just to get advice at first of like, would you franchise? Andrew and Shauna own a company called 4 Foods Group. And they were the ones who took Kneaders from 3 stores to 50 plus. And at first I was like, oh, I love Kneaders. I love their concept. Yeah, let's go talk with him and just get his advice. Like, what would you do? Would you franchise? And he sat down with us for 2 hours the first time we met with him and didn't look at his phone once. His phone was put away. Had his attention. And he said, first of all, don't franchise yet. You're not ready for it. And he said, and I'd love to partner with you. I'd love to grow the Swig brand if you would have me. And we honestly felt so right about it within the first couple minutes that we were like, we found our partner. Like this is the company that's going to take us to the next level. So we partnered with 4 Foods Group in December of 2018. So a little over 2 years ago. And this is Andrew and Shauna, and then my husband and I. And then these are 3 of our partners that had opened up a similar concept in Arizona called the Soda Shop. And we partnered with them, and now their soda shops are Swig down in Arizona too. They had 2 stores. So anyway, so we partnered, and then we started, make sure I'm not skipping anything. Okay, we are so close on time. Okay, so with the help of 4 Foods and their expertise, that's part of the 4 Foods staff with their Swig cups, just loving life, drinking their soda. They helped us to take on the heavy load of accounting, marketing, HR, new site development, payroll, maintenance. Before that time, we had an office staff of about 5. And so we all had about 10 different hats on our head. And that's why the stores weren't getting the attention that they needed. And so they were able to help us with a lot of that extra stuff. And I remember Andrew said to me when we were sitting down to partner, he says, Nicole, what's one thing that if you could choose one thing of the business, what would you do after we do this partnership? What would you choose to do? And I said, I would love, 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 love to get back to customer service because that's where it all started. And I just love the customers so much. So if you ask any of my managers or team members what happens when I walk into the store, I go straight for that window so that I can talk with that customer again because I love it. And so I focus a lot on customer service and visiting the stores and making sure that that customer is getting that great Swig experience and that the team members feel supported too as well. Plus there's other stuff I do, but that's a big focus of what I do. So they helped us take a lot of that heavy weight off of us. We redesigned our logo. So again, the poor Swig guy headed off to college at Utah State or somewhere. I don't know where he went, but we love him, but he's grown up. Swig had to grow up, and this is a pivotal moment for us as well. We had to refresh our look. It'd been 8.5 years. It was time to refresh if we're gonna really grow this brand. So it turned into this. That took a lot of tweaking of will our customers still resonate with that Swig brand? That was a big fear of my husband and I. Will they still believe that it's Swig, they didn't get their great drink, and that it hasn't changed everything? Have you ever had a company or a place that you go to, that changes their look and you're like, oh, it's just not the same? That was our fear. And so we really tried to make sure that it was still close to what we did. And we feel like we nailed it with just the freshness of it, but it still looks like Swig. Hopefully we did. But we did that. We changed our menu. So this was one of our original menus. And now it's this. It's not so busy. It's more clean, fresh look. That shows our new tumbler that I spoke highly of right here that we came out with a year or 2 ago. We introduced... Oh, that's our new store. This kind of shows that when we were changing out the Murray Swig, it shows the old look, and then it shows the new look. We had just put the new sign on, so it kind of shows the before and the after. This is our Dinosaur Crossing Swig. It's our new store down in St. George, so it shows the new look inside. It actually is our #1 store already after only 1 year. So if you guys make it down to St. George, go to the Dino store. It's pretty impressive. So there's the new look inside. We gave away free Swig for a year. We handed out gold tumblers. And there it was like a social media thing that we did. And I think there was probably like, gosh, 30 people that won a gold tumbler. It's kind of like the golden ticket on Willy Wonka, but they got a gold tumbler. It was pretty cool. And I would go to the stores and be working, and the gold tumblers would come through, and they're like, "This ends soon." It ended in November, and they're like, "Please do another one because we need our free drinks." But that was the kind of marketing value that 4Foods Group brought to the table. We now have our own app where you can order online and then pick up at the store. We do DoorDash now. We came out with Swig popsicles. Swig Pops is what we call it. So again, we're bringing out new ideas that maybe we didn't have the resources to do before. We have a peppermint cookie. We came out with scones. The scones didn't take off, but again, you have to try it. And then if it doesn't work, then you know that it didn't work. But we thought we'd get a breakfast food in there, but people are not coming to us for healthy. They're coming to us for cookies and sugar. So that's what it is. It's okay. We do have refreshers. We have, we did our own, refreshers are next, I think. Refreshers, which is like sparkling water. You can add your own syrup to it. We have our fruit water, which is to die for. Who here has tried the fruit water? Raise your hands high. So if you don't drink soda, we can make you a fruit water. And what that is yummy syrup with frozen strawberries and mangoes and water. So you can still get your Swig fix even if you're like 2020 goals, you're gonna swear off soda. You can still come get your Swig and drink water. So it's healthy, you get your fruit intake, it's good. Okay, we also developed our own Reviver, which is our own energy drink on tap. It took us a year to develop it, so it's kind of like a Red Bull taste, but guys, we can customize it to anything you want. You can create your own energy, basically. So Reviver, we can blend it, we can put ice on it, and did I tell you that there's a Swig in Logan? So when you're studying for finals, we've got you right here, Reviver. Okay, and then our social media grew like crazy too with the help of 4Foods. Social media is huge, right? In the day and age that we live, that's our marketing. When we first opened up, we did no marketing. We didn't have the budget for it. So it was all word of mouth. It was that mommy network. They would tell their friends. I would have newspapers and radio companies call me and say, "Hey, would you market with us?" And I was like, no, because we didn't need it. It was busy enough as it was. But as we got into the social media phase, we were the ones, my husband and I were the ones that were posting on Facebook before Instagram. But to be able to turn that over to somebody was a huge relief. They can answer all the comments that people like to put on, and they can feel connected to the Swig brand, which is what social media is all about, is connecting and bringing people in to try your product. Okay, so I think let's talk about really quick about the shaved ice thing. So it wasn't working because it would slow up our line, and the shaved ice was hard to put on the block, and so it was just not working. And so we decided, you know what, are we a shaved ice company? No, we are a drink company that sells cookies, and we don't need to worry about shaved ice. So we got rid of all the shaved ice machines, and the managers cheered like crazy because it was such a pain to chop off that ice and try to shave it. So don't be afraid to be adaptable, and don't be like stubborn of like, we are a shaved ice store, we're gonna continue to sell shaved ice until we die. No, if it's not working, get rid of it and focus on what you do well. And for us, that's drinks and cookies. We could have branched off a million different ways, but we know what is our lane, and that's drinks and cookies. So focus on what you do and do it well, and stay there where it all is good. Okay, so lastly, like Marissa said, we have 22 locations. Who would have thought our 10-year anniversary is coming up? We're gonna do some fun stuff, so be looking for that. 10 years, cannot even believe that it's been that long. And we are living our dream that we just had no idea. We just wanted one store to work, right? Just one. Please let just one store work so we can pay the bills. We had 5 children. Like, please help the Tanners send their kids off to college. But one store worked, and then it eventually grew into the 2, 3, 4, 5. And this is a picture of my cute family. That is Swig number 2, Boulevard Swig in St. George. That was 2013, actually before we even opened Swig number 2. But the reason that I put them on there is because they were just a huge part of the journey. It is a family business. We are connected. We talk about Swig all the time. My brother and sister-in-law are here and they can attest to that. We talk about Swig a lot, to where I'm like, no more talking about Swig. We are gonna talk about anything else because, you know, there's other things in the world to talk about. But when you have a family business, that's what it's all about. And so they know what hard work is. They know how to push towards a goal and a dream. And I hope that it's helped them in the long run to maybe go out and start their own version of Swig or whatever that is. They just can't use the word dirty. But yeah, we are blessed. And again, my advice to you is find something that you're passionate about, that you love, because it will be so much easier for you to create a business out of it if you have that passion for it. Because there's going to be times where you're going to want to be done because it's too much, right? You're doing it all. You've got all these different hats on. But if you truly love it, you love that customer, you love that Diet Coke, you will push through and be able to see it through to the 22 locations where it is now. And that's it. Thanks, guys. And go YouTube. You can find that video. It's actually pretty cool.
Okay, I'm sure you want to quit talking, but we have a couple minutes for question and answers because everyone wants to hear from you. So if anybody has any questions, this lady has a lot of advice, so ask away.
Okay. This light is bright, so I'm going to come up here in case, yeah. This cute girl actually told me that she went to my son, Trey, the tall kid, which, where did he come from? He's 6'7", I'm 5'4". So I say it came from Diet Coke, actually. But anyway, she went to school with them, and she had several friends that worked at the original Swig, so kind of cool.
Love Swig. My mom still goes there every single day. The original one.
Yay.
So I was wondering, when the competition started flooding in and people were catching on to, you know, your awesome idea, how did you deal with that? Like, how did you, you know, just, I'm sure you just stuck to what you know and trusted that you were the original. You had your raving fans, but how did you
That is such a good question, and I'm so glad you brought it up. At first, when people would come and literally take pictures in front of Swig and videos, and they still do it, they'll come up to our team members and say, all right, how many cookies do you sell a day? And how many fountain drinks do you sell a day? And where do you get this? And what syrup do you use? And literally, they'd sit in the couch in Swig number 2 and just like watch for hours, which is fine. That's research, right? That's how you gotta find your good ideas. So at first, it was, it kind of hurt, right? Like I was like, oh, they copied us. Like, oh, that hurts so bad. But then someone said to me, that's a compliment. And I'm like, you're right, that is a compliment. So then I'm like, yeah, more power to them. Like, live the American dream, and competition is good for everybody, because what did that do? We had to step up our game. We had to make sure that we were providing the best customer service with the best product, because now there's competition. So it hurt at first, but then I learned to look at it in a different way of like, well, good for them. It's competition. Yeah, good question. Yeah. Remris, are you going to get your workout in? Although she told me she already went to the gym today, so this is your second workout.
My name's Kenzie. I've been to a couple of the Swigs and of like your competitors, and I've noticed that a lot of the workers are a lot of young people, you know, because it's like the cool hip thing.
Yeah.
And I know that you're really focused on like the customer service, but sometimes I feel like that high schoolers, they go that for a job of like a social job to like be talking with their friends and be more focused on each other than the customer. So how do you ensure that they are living, like, that they want the same standards as you?
So hard, but so good. So the majority, I would say probably 60% of our team members are high school students, which is great. So my kids both worked there. Well, actually all 4 of them, and then Tice will be 16 here in a couple months, and he wants to work there. He has to. I'm like, you will work at Swig. But so it is a great first job. I mean, you're not dealing with grease. You're not dealing with It's not hard, guys. It's fountain drinks and cookies. Frosting cookies is harder than it looks, but it's easy. And so, but the customer service side of it, like actually talking to a person instead of like on their phone, like it is hard to teach that. And so we have trainings that we do now, but back in the day, we just had to rely on teaching them of like what that looks like with that customer. But I guarantee you, if they start working at Swig, they are gonna learn how to talk to customers, because that is why we have a business, is that customer. And so we're gonna treat that customer like they are our favorite customer to every car. And so I think it's just implementing that as best we can to those young team members. But a lot of our team members who started out at minimum wage are now managing stores, and that we grow from within if we can. And so that's how it's worked as well, because we know that team member, they know the Swig culture, and we know they're going to work hard for it. So we need any and all those high school kids, because they run the stores and they do a good job. Yeah, good question. Yeah, there's a hand in the back.
Just a quick question. As you and your husband started the company, how early on did you get legal support to move forward?
So, that's a good question. Are you talking the dirty lawsuit, or are you talking like...
No, I'm just talking about in general, just
not
moving
that there was
forward
a
since you
lawsuit,
started
just
it.
kidding. There was, everybody knows. So we didn't necessarily need an attorney at the first. Again, we were so old school the way we did stuff. We didn't have a business plan. I highly suggest you have a business plan, by the way. We just were like, hey, we love soda and fountain drinks, and we kind of went into it blindly. But we didn't have an attorney until we actually needed to. Again, we didn't get stuff until we needed to have it. We didn't need an attorney for the first 4 or 5 years. We had an accountant, so he helped us file our taxes and stuff. But other than that, my husband and I did it all for the first 3.5, 4 years. But attorney probably when the lawsuit stuff started happening. Yeah. And now we have an attorney, so it's good.
If you take the entrepreneurship minor, you'll learn how to do business plans. So,
yay, woohoo!
Just a quick question. Now that you're somewhat established, do you have any plans in the work, or are you doing anything to give back?
To give back to the communities, yes. So a big part of what drives our businesses that we love to support are the schools. And so we just handed out thousands of free drink cards to surrounding schools from Logan all the way down to Gilbert, Arizona. I passed them out in St. George to 4 high schools, 1,300 at one high school, 1,300 at another, just to give back to our students. So we focus on schools, and because again, they're the ones that are coming in and working in our stores, and we feel like that generation is what's going to take this economy to the next level. And so we focus back on schools. We do sponsorships for schools where we hang up banners. We have fundraiser cards that we do for schools. And so that's a lot of where we give back, is to the schools and the communities that way. Good question. Marissa, you're going to get your exercise in. There's some over here.
Yeah. I can speak up.
Sweet.
Can you please just explain like a very short synopsis of the dirty lawsuit?
Oh, dang. Now you'll make up your own of what happened?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. So I'm going to just barely, because I don't want to say anything I shouldn't, because I like So Delicious. They are a great company. Just going to say it. I am. Listen, they are a great company and great people. So, and they follow their dream, and they have a successful business, and so good for them. I do not like to talk bad about anybody. I feel like karma, so give back. But they just refused to not use it, and so we had to protect it at that point, because it was confusing the marketplace, because we were constantly having people saying, you made my drink wrong. And so we're like, wait, that's our term. Hold on a second. We had to pay lots of money for that trademark too, actually. And it was a process of getting it. And so we kind of fought for that term. We paid for it. so we deserve to kind of have it. So it was more of just like, we got to protect it, or who's to say that anybody can just use it at that point. So it was to protect it for the future, to protect the Swig brand for the future, to where that dirty word is ours. Because if we let anybody use it, and if we let Sodalicious use it, then anybody could use it. So why did we go through the expense of trademarking and all of that? Does that make sense? Yeah, okay, thank you.
Okay, we have one last question back here, and then we've got to wrap it up. But you can go and talk to Nicole after if you have burning questions from her.
Hi, I just wanted to ask, you said everything started with a Diet Coke.
Yeah.
Why diet? Why
diet? I know it has aspartame in it. It's so bad for you. I don't know, honestly. That's just because we liked. I know my grandparents used to have the good glass Coke bottles growing up, and so the big treat for me was to go down to their house and drink the Coke from their bottles. Diet because it's less calories. I mean, honestly, I feel like I balanced it out with my Diet Coke and my sugar cookie. But we loved it. And so I don't know why it was Diet Coke, other than that was our drink of choice, was Diet Coke with lime. The best drink out there. But now you do a Big Al. So if that maybe was a question, my favorite drink is a Big Al, which is a dirty Diet Coke. So what's in the dirty Diet Coke? Coconut, no lime. Well, I do a lime, that's in the Big Al, but dirty is just coconut. So Big Al is dirty Diet Coke and lime, and I put a little bit of coconut cream on top, and it's a game changer. So you guys need to go try that. It's so good.